Ladies and gentlemen, I'm with Les Binet. He is the most definitive, or should I say most effective voice in the world of effectiveness. So, I mean, as you all know, that effectiveness is today possibly the biggest conversation that's going around in the world, because every single marketing dollar that is being spent, people are asking this question, investors are asking this question, CEOs are asking this question on what is the effective use of that dollar, and Les has a huge body of work around that area. So today we'll try and talk about some of the basic principles and tenets that he has been observing and seeing from working across multiple brands in multiple countries, in multiple geographies. So
yes.
let's thank you for all your time.
Thank you very much. I mean, I work for adam&eveDDB, which is the London office of the DDB network, and my rather fanciful title is Group Head of Effectiveness. So I basically I do three things. I help advertisers to measure the effectiveness of their advertising and marketing communications, and then I try and identify what the ingredients of effective work are, and then I try and use all that to help them improve their effectiveness. And when I talk about effectiveness, I mean effectiveness in hard business terms, you know, dollars, basically, what drives revenue and profit. And I kind of do that on a day-to-day basis, but I also, I have the freedom to do some, if you like, kind of semi-academic work on behalf of the advertising industry as a whole. So together with my colleague, Peter Field, I've built up quite a body of knowledge. And I suspect that's probably what you're going to tap into today.
Absolutely, Les. This is precisely what we are planning to tap into today, so that audience in our market, and maybe since on our platform, it would be possibly across the globe, get a sense of what are the tenets of effectiveness and what are the learnings that you have over the period of time. The role of legacy media. I know that the role of legacy media would be important in the brand side. I also want to touch upon the role of legacy media in activation side.
So you need to talk to all of your potential customers. If you look at the work of Ehrenberg Bass, and you know, they've got decades of research all around the world on many categories, and we know that the key to success is not to own a segment of the market, not to target a niche, but to talk to all category buyers. That's the route to big profits. And for mainstream brands, that means talking to very large numbers of people. Now, digital media are great, but if you want to get the maximum reach in your category, quite often you need to use some legacy media as well. So if you're selling cars, for example, new car buyers are by and large, at least in the UK, I don't know about the Indian market, but they tend to be older. I think the average new car buyer in the UK is about 60, you know, 50s and 60s. And many of those people do use digital media a lot, but they also consume significant quantities of legacy media as well. They watch TV. This may be different in India, I don't know. If you want to maximize reach, then you may want to use outdoor, because it may not be enough to just get people, you know, while they're on their phones or on their laptops, and so on. So you need to look at your target market, and you know, we're often obsessed with Gen Z or millennials, you know, but older consumers are important in many categories, and in many categories they're the ones with the most money. Again, it may be different in India. So we need to start with the marketing problem. Who do we need to talk to? And then choose media based on our understanding of the target audience's consumption habits and viewing habits and so forth. rather than saying, well, we need to be digital. And so typically we find for many big mainstream brands that for the kind of reach and the kind of exposure you need, TV is still an important part of the mix. And it's usually a mixture of offline and online media working together in synergy. So that's for brand building. And, you know, that allows you to talk to people when they're in a relaxed, lean back mode, which is where often the best brand building stuff happens. You know, talk to people when they're not actively shopping, but when they're being entertained. And then on the activation side, digital media, some digital media are really good for that. I mean, paid search is absolutely brilliant for immediate activation. And, you know, if I was to use two media, if I was a big brand and I had budget for two media, I'd probably go, well, let's do TV and paid search. You know, if I was allowed four media, it might be TV, YouTube, social media, and paid search. You know, something like that. But again, there will be occasions when you might need to activate with people outside of the digital space. I mean, McDonald's do poster ads that basically say, you know, there's a lovely little poster at Leicester Square Tube Station in London that when you get to the top of the stairs, it just sort of says nearest McDonald's 200 feet that way. You know, that's a great piece of activation. You know, you come out of the tube station, you think, I need to grab something to eat before my next meeting, before I go shopping. And it's not digital. You know, the shop is that way, the restaurant is that way. Posters can do activation. There's still a role for activation in other legacy media, print media, less so than it used to be. But, you know, if you're a local taxi firm, putting a little card through people's doors so that they've got your phone number in a card that sits in the drawer in the hallway. For some people, that may be useful. They may, you know, for some older users, they may not want to Google you. So, but it should be empirically determined. You look at what works and you look at the efficiency of what works. And you choose it to fit your target audience and your category.